Welcome back to Disciple Maker Interviews. Today I'm talking with Brian Mackie. Brian, welcome to the program and thanks for the interview.
Oh, love being here. Great to catch up with you and talk about what's going on in our churches.
I know it's been a while. We saw each other at the Climb conference,
hmm
and Brian and I know each other from the Northwest. He used to be north of me up in Washington, and right now we're both in it's called Preach With You 22 cohort of 30 or so ministers that take part in webinars where we sharpen and help each other with our preaching series. So I see Brian's face on Zoom every now and then, and that's been fun. We are both young ministers, new homeowners, newlywed in adventure cities on new church plantings.
Yeah.
I love asking people, how do you build family in your church and your ministry? So tell me about this team in Flagstaff and how you guys build family together.
Yeah. So let me start by telling you kind of what the situation was here
Yeah.
in Flagstaff, because it's not your typical church planting where, there's nobody out there and we're going to go send a team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We actually came in and there's probably about a dozen disciples here. And there's roughly been a dozen. Maybe it got up to like 17, 19
Mm.
at one point over the past 7 years.
Yeah. The
It's been
teams.
being led by a couple who moved from Phoenix in their retirement and have been serving
Mm.
the church voluntarily in that way. And so we moved in here in June, and along with about those 10 to 12 people that were already here. And we had probably another, I don't know, 8 to 10 people join us. And then a few more people along the way have joined us since, along with a few conversions since there. Uh, and so we have a kind of a mixed bag of people, of where people's faith are at, because you have definitely a group here that had been, not seeing maybe the fruit or the success or the desires of their heart come true here in Flagstaff. But then you also have a group of people who are moving on to a mission team. And so that's definitely a different mindset coming in. If you're willing to move to a mission team, you have a certain level of faith to make that happen. And maybe you don't necessarily have all the training quite yet, or maybe you do have some training, but there's definitely some faith there. And what I have found so interesting when you bring up the question family is I feel like our family has been a natural byproduct of our faith being built. Um, and I can think through a couple of situations where that has been very dramatic. Our faith being built and us bonding together, like being unified, becoming a family because our faith was being built. The first or the largest example of it might have been in our first month. We had a few extra people in town just as like short-term missionaries, which if you can get a short-term missionary to join your church, it is huge, um, especially if they can be there for a month, which is what we had. We had basically two families join us for a month, uh, and and the fact that it wasn't just like a young person who had free reign, but it was like these were adults. These were people in their 40s who joined us for a month. One of them was a teacher. Another two of them were ministers, and so they came and spent the month with us. It was absolutely phenomenal to have that. I definitely encourage anybody in our positions to find somebody like that can come in and set up evangelistic activities for them, and but also encouraging your church members to participate in those. And so in our first month, we had a ton of those evangelistic activities. And one of them was we did a Bible talk at the mall. And this is actually something we've kept up every Thursday since then. We do a mall Bible talk. We show up at 5:30. We share our faith for about 45 minutes. And at 6:15, we have a group discussion. Whoever is free and available to show up. But The first one didn't go as we hoped for, or at least as we thought we hoped for. We went out, prayed, then we went out, shared. We come back together at 6:15, and we're just all kind of standing there waiting around, seeing if anybody's going to show up, and nobody is. Nobody's doing it. So I gather the team up and say, hey, thanks so much. Like, you guys are doing it. Like, we are being the evangelist we need to be. We're getting out there on the mission team. Not every time we're going to receive the response we want. And I'm just kind of encouraging them for getting out there, for sharing their faith, and I'm about to send them on their way. Like, hey, have a great night. And one young lady who we had invited walks up to join, I think with her young child. And I was like, and she asked, hey, are we having the Bible talk? And I was like, oh, we are just pulling everyone in. Let's get going. And we started the discussion and had a great discussion along the way. Another woman that had been invited joined us halfway through, and it was such a bonding experience for the team, getting out there and watching God really bless it, and just seeing that faith be built, but also really family. I mean, it bonded us. We have a shared story of how God has moved. So many of us moved here. We left our friendships behind. We left family or jobs or what we're used to, and now we've been here 6 or 8 months, and we're realizing, wow, you know what? I need deeper relationships. And so many of us have just decided, you know what? This New Year's, one of my biggest goals is just to have better friendships. And that's just been another real big boost, because as we've continued to have better friendships, God has just blessed us with, we're having more fun now. We are seeing more people coming out. They feel the family, they feel the friendships. It's just been really, really incredible. And so I don't know if it's anything I've necessarily done to build the family aspect, but I feel like it's just happened as we've built our faith. And so maybe it's just trying to find ways to build faith within your group, or have faith stories that unify you.
Yeah, building faith in order to build family, or really partnering in the gospel. And again, you guys are just coming together to pour into others. I love hearing how their faith was ignited again, coming to a Bible talk and seeing a guest come out. And to me, that's where faith is built, is when you get in the Word with people, get into Bible studies.
Yeah.
I can become so much closer with a brother if we share a faith together, or get in a Bible study together, or baptize somebody together. We're confessing sin with each other. We're deeply conversing on the scriptures. That's going to be so much more bonding than just, seeing each other in the fellowship on a Sunday week after week.
Being in a Bible study together. It is so incredible what happens when the relationship, and you're working and you're seeing somebody else's heart change, and you're being reminded of the characteristics and the attitudes and the call that we personally have. And then you just get to bond afterwards or before with them and just say, like, hey, what do you think about that? How'd that go? Like, and you're just sharing stories like, oh, wow. It's just something about being together on the mission that is absolutely tremendous.
Brian, thanks for chatting today. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love getting time with you, Joey.
Hey family, thank you for watching this teaser video. If you'd like to listen to the entire interview, check out the podcast link in the description down below. Thank you.